You're listening to Women's Dream Enlightenment, dream decoding, deep discussions, and spiritual stories of self-discovery to inspire your personal enlightened journey. I'm your host, Megan Mary, founder of Women's Dream Analysis. Let's bring in the light. Welcome. Today I have Rosalee John, the Divine Hippie. She is a spiritual life coach. She specializes in helping women to activate their inner magnetism, embody their highest selves, and bring their manifestations to life. Welcome, Rosalee.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here and chat with you today, Megan.
Awesome. I am so happy to have you on. You're actually the first witch on my podcast, so you get the wonderful honor of that.
Yay. I feel so special.
So my first question that I ask everyone is, what does enlightenment mean to you?
Oh, I love this question. So enlightenment to me is the journey of seeking something deeper within yourself. It's going beyond our human existence and looking for our deeper inner purpose of why are we here? And it's going to differ for everyone. For me, I always share that I truly believe that my life purpose is to learn as much as I possibly can, from reading books to taking courses to talking to people. I love getting any new information I can in my noggin because I just find learning so interesting. But for other people, that could be having a family. It could be speaking up about a certain cause. It's really about finding what your purpose is, understanding that, and getting to know yourself ultimately on a better level as well.
Yes, that's an excellent answer. And I share that insatiable quest for knowledge. I understand, just constantly can never know enough, always feel like there is more to know, and just that real thirst for that knowledge, I think, is what leads you down that path, and that it's a continual path. Of course, there's not an end destination necessarily. It's the path of enlightenment.
Yeah, exactly. I never say that you've reached enlightenment. I don't think it's ever, like you said, an ends to a mean. It's a journey. It's about discovering over and over and over again.
Yes, so many layers. So tell the listeners a little bit about your enlightenment journey thus far and what brought you to do what you are doing today.
So my journey started from a really young age. I was about 8 or 10 when I stumbled into a garage sale and looking at all the knickknacks, and I found this oracle deck. And I had no idea what this was. I just saw pictures and messages, and it looked kind of witchy. And even from a young age, I was really drawn to that sort of energy, that lifestyle. I've always been drawn to that. So I bought it for $1. And then there was another one that they had for sale. I bought that for $1 as well. And I came home and I just started playing with it. I read the book from beginning to end, learning every card spread, every meaning behind each card, pulling it and really tapping into my own intuition without really necessarily knowing what that meant. So I was doing card readings for myself, and then I was dragging my family members into it of, hey, I have to give you a reading. I have to do this, acting like a little card reader even when I was 8 years old. And that developed into studying mediumship as I see spirits and ghosts. And that turned into really embracing my interest in witchcraft and then becoming a very proud witch myself. And I have studied and learned, and like we talked about, of always having that interest to learn as much as possible. And I feel like that has been my enlightenment journey of seeking out everything I can to understand myself better. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of spiritual people. We have felt so misunderstood our entire life. So we spend the rest of our life trying to understand ourselves the best we possibly can. So it's been a journey of learning and discovering and really being confident in who I am and not being shy about it anymore. I used to keep those parts of myself very hidden, and I never thought I wanted to do this for a living. And then I was approaching the end of high school, and I just thought, you know what? I'm going to go for it because nothing feels as right as studying spirituality and sharing it with other people. And now I've been the divine hippie for 4 years, I think almost going on 5 if I remember correctly. But it's been an amazing journey working with women all over the world, teaching classes and just talking to people and really just letting my own nerdy self out because I can talk about spirituality all day long, which is why I'm so grateful that I'm on this podcast now.
Absolutely. I love that answer. And I think that it's always so much a part of overcoming that fear. And it's so great that you did it at such a young age too, that you just set out into the world and then said, this is what I want to do. Because so many of us, myself included, go a different path, do something completely different, deny that part of yourself until you're way down your adult years and then realize, I can't deny this part anymore. I don't want to be what I'm supposed to be. I want to be what I really am. And it takes a lot of courage and a lot of self-reflection to come to that place.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate you saying that. And by sharing that, I by no means mean that I have not stumbled. I have not questioned. I have not thought, okay, you know what? This is not meant for me. I don't know what I'm doing here, declaring that there is no universe. But it's all about coming back to who you really are. And like I said with enlightenment, rediscovering that over and over again and stepping out of that imposter syndrome. Because if you're a witch, declare it. If you are super into God, declare that. Embrace that part of you because that's who you truly are.
That's empowering. And I couldn't agree more. Now, as a woman, what role have you found that dreams have played in your life? Have you ever had messages in your dreams or inspiration from your dreams?
Absolutely. Dreams are untapped resources in our lives. And anyone in my life who is not spiritual and tells me about their dreams, but looks at it from a very practical, well, I don't know what it means. I can't fathom that because it's our direct connection to our subconscious mind that is telling us messages. And I receive messages in my dreams all the time. I wish I could remember all of them, but I do put the intention out, especially when I feel like I almost kind of get little clues that I'm going to get a dream that has a lot of significance. So I will pray. I will talk to the universe for a minute before I go to bed and say, please let me remember this because I know that this is going to be important. And then I do wake up and I remember what it is. I've received guidance about what I needed to let go. It's been everything from, okay, it's time for this job that you had. This is no longer serving you. I've had dreams about ex-boyfriends, like I'm sure we all have, where it's been, honey, you need to let him go. And they have been so healing because they tell me what my 3D self is not, it doesn't feel ready to hear, but my higher self is speaking to me saying, yes, this is your path. This is what you need to go on. So to me, coming back to the question, dreams are so important. And I think dream analysis is really key to understanding you on a deeper level.
Yes, I feel like it is the voice of your higher self. And when we learn to listen to it, which, like you said, is a challenge for some, because remembering is the first hurdle, just being able to remember your dreams. But once you can, then discarding the misconceptions that it's nonsensical, or just a regurgitation of your day, or just a jumble of memories, that is actually a very craftily put together story meant to teach you something.
Absolutely.
And I think it's incredibly powerful. And of course, it led me to where I am today. It pretty much is how I started this whole thing. So I'm a believer in listening, and I just want to spread the word to everyone else too, how important that is.
Yeah, that's why I love what you do. It's so interesting, and being able to dissect it better than having to Google everything in your dream, that is
Yes.
powerful.
Yes. So all women should break up with their dream dictionaries.
Yes,
because
I think we should. Absolutely.
Yes, grab your diary, put down the dictionary.
Yeah, it's really about tapping into your intuition and not just depending on what everyone else is saying.
Correct. And recording those dreams in that diary, and then figuring out your dream language, instead of looking outside yourself to something generic that really does not apply to you and could mislead you, because that's not exactly what that's not for you.
Absolutely.
So what's your favorite thing about what you do?
Ooh, my favorite thing is, ooh, there's so many, because it's everything from working with clients to performing certain spells and card readings. But I truly love bringing it all back to learning as much as I can, then helping my clients, because I feel like I am so in sync with my clients all the time. It's kind of hilarious of how I'm in the process of learning something, and I've learned the lesson, I've done the work, whatever it is, and then maybe a few weeks later, maybe a few months, maybe just a day later, a client comes to me in a very similar situation where I can share wisdom and thinking, oh, I've heard this quote, or let me go back into my notes from all these courses that I've taken and go back to this one specific message that has come through to me, but I feel like it's for you. I feel like a constant conduit, and I always tell people this, that I'm not a guru. I truly believe that the universe or God, whatever you believe in, is speaking through me to you, and I'm here to help you. I'm not here to be someone that you put on a pedestal. I'm just here to share information. So I'd say my favorite thing about what I do is being that conduit and feeling like everything I'm learning is really to help my clients in the future. And I love how it all comes back together and meshes so well. It's hilarious, but I know that it always has a deeper meaning. So I shouldn't be surprised, but I am every single time.
Yes, those synchronicities are what indicate to us that we're on the right path, right? And the more I have the same experience, where I'll be looking for something, and then someone will come to me through a different path, and then they'll say, that's interesting because I was just doing this. And then I'll, be feverishly researching something, and then it turns out there's another reason that I was feverishly researching that thing. So
Yeah,
yes, there's no coincidences, and everything does just, it's that divine plan again, where everything just kind of falls into place at the right time. And when people discover you, or you discover people, there's so many options out there right now. When you're on the internet, it's just overwhelming, and there's millions and millions. But you start your day, here comes someone, then you land on something, and you think, that's why you were supposed to cross that path, because you could have gone a million other ways. And so I find that to be divinely led. And
Absolutely. It's so funny how it works out. It's like every single moment led up to exactly where you are right now. So I
yes,
truly believe you're always on the right path, no matter
right.
what choice you make.
Yes. And even if you think, even if you try and push it, which I know I have, to one way
Me
or the
too.
other, or even if you think that you're not, there's still another lesson in that, and you are. So, what are the common misconceptions people have about what you do?
I think the biggest misconception is that it's always tied to religion. And as I tried to be very clear that I subscribe to spirituality, which is simply the belief in something bigger than us all. And I don't think religion has to be a part of that belief. You don't have to subscribe to one specific set of beliefs in order to try to work on being your best self, on seeing the bigger picture than just you, looking outside of yourself as well, increasing your consciousness, raising your vibration. That doesn't have to do with one specific higher power. And especially when I bring witchcraft into the mix, which always has a lot of stigma attached, even now it still does, even though I'm still proud about it. There are people that believe that I must be into a specific religion in order to practice that. But spirituality, witchcraft, it's a lifestyle. Being on this journey of enlightenment is a lifestyle. You don't have to subscribe to a specific set of rules, belief in order to be on this journey. You don't have to be so defined. I feel like the biggest problem here is that there's a need to label where you're at, what you're doing, what you believe. And it's perfectly fine to be a jumbled mess of a few things here and a few things there. My beliefs aren't all set in stone. I'm discovering new things about myself every day. So I would be silly to, label it down and mark it down to one specific set of beliefs. That is the biggest misconception, that it's tied to religion, but religion is so much bigger than that anyway. There's always a lot of misconception when it comes to spirituality and religion, and that's the biggest thing that I try to get across to people.
And I couldn't agree with you more about that. The two points that I really resonated with me were, one, the pigeonholing, because nobody is just one thing, and you don't want to label yourself and pigeonhole yourself into one thing, and you don't want other people to say, well, you're this, so then you must be that, and it must be this. And obviously there is centuries of stigma, but I think owning that and then saying, but I'm not just this one thing, is really powerful. And also the separation between religion and spirituality, which I'm a really big advocate of as well, because I don't subscribe to one particular religion, or any religion for that matter, and feel that you can have spirituality without having religion. I feel like the organization and the dogma and the expectation of that prevents us from actually activating our own self-power, and the presumption and the almost requirement that we need someone else to get us there, that we're not allowed to access it directly, that we have to go through someone else, is really what becomes ingrained in us societally and prevents us from embarking on that ourselves, empowering that ourselves, and letting ourselves be able to just directly access that. And so I'm all for the spiritual element, and I often struggle with that, where that line is in my branding and my perception as well, because I don't want religion to be spirituality to be religious. So yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah. I love what you said. 100%.
So, what should everyone stop doing and what should everyone start doing?
Okay. Stop doing is stop trying to make yourself a project for constant improvement. I am all about self-development. I help women. I want to get you from A to B, but I strongly advise everyone to not begin to see yourself as a project who is constantly needing to evolve in order to be lovable. Saying that I have to lose weight in order to be lovable. That is my personality, that journey. Or, I want to work through this lack mindset that I have. And until I've reached abundance mindset, I'm not going to be successful. I'm not lovable. Those are all lies. And that's all your ego trying to keep you stuck. Again, there is nothing wrong with trying to work on yourself and improve yourself. And even with the weight topic, that's been my own personal journey right now, and reminding myself I am worthy exactly as I am. I can be worthy in this body, in the body I had previously, the body I'm gonna have, because it's all me. This is all a part of the journey. And sometimes it's not about learning and learning and learning. It's about applying what you know and enjoying where you're at right now. Number one thing that I recommend everyone to stop doing.
That's really powerful for me. I'm an Enneagram achiever.
Oh, okay. Yep. I see that.
So yeah, so I fall into that trap of, if once I get these 18 certifications and
Mm-hmm.
stamps and things, then I will be permitted to do XYZ. And this type of world, I mean, at first I thought, oh, it doesn't function that way. It's not academia, but it has its own set of 18 million certifications. And
Absolutely.
so it's, for me, that biggest challenge is thinking, okay, you don't need that. It's okay if you want that, and it's okay if you want to learn more, but you already know so much just where you're at. And
100%. Yeah, I get in the exact same trap. And as business owner to business owner, we know of feeling like you're not worthy and you don't know what you know until you have a piece of paper that approves it.
saying that you know it,
I
yes.
mean, yeah, I have wisdom
Which is silly.
deeply ingrained in me,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm looking for outside validation. That doesn't really make sense. It sounds like I'm giving away my power.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing that comes out of that.
Yes. So what should everyone start doing then, of course?
Start doing. I have so many things that everyone could start doing, but I would say the biggest thing I would recommend everyone to start doing is taking a moment to yourself without distractions. I I do it at the beginning of my day and at the end of my day, but it will really depend on where you're at and what feels comfortable for you. But taking a few minutes to talk to yourself, talk to a higher power of your choice, talk to the universe, and really develop that relationship. Because especially this is great at the beginning of the day when you haven't looked on Instagram, you haven't been scrolling, you haven't absorbed anyone else's energy. You can just focus on you, because right away you will tell if you need something, if you need it physically, that's water or exercise, or to do a good stretch, or it's something that's coming up for you, whether it's a limiting belief or it's something that you need to amplify and look at. Your body, your soul, your higher power, whatever you resonate with, is constantly speaking with you. So give yourself distraction free time to tap into that. Because we've already talked about it today on this podcast of your intuition is so important and will tell you everything you need to know. You already have all that ancient wisdom within you. It's a matter of tapping into this. And although I recommend doing it at the beginning of the day, you can certainly do it in the middle of the day. When you've been scrolling and you've been absorbing all of this outside energy, take a moment to yourself, check in. What do you need to hear? What do you need to do? What feels best for you in this moment?
Yes, that is excellent advice. And I couldn't agree more. We need to silence that noise. There is so much noise. And I do prefer the morning because that's when I'm recording my dreams and when I'm unfettered, undistracted. And once the day goes, it's pedal to the metal until it's time for bed. And so it's really the best time for me, but it is also good just right in the middle, like you said, because overwhelm can happen so easily. There's just so many being pulled in so many directions, and there's no time in our daily lives for that quiet place. And the quiet place is the only way that we can access that inner wisdom. It's not going to just come to you while you're feverishly researching or scrolling. No. Yeah. It has to be a quiet space. And so, and that's also the only way that you can train your mind to recognize your environment. Part of learning how to lucid dream really involves actively acknowledging your environment in your waking life as well, so that you reflexively then when you're sleeping are doing that same acknowledgement. So there's a lot of knowingness and awareness and mindfulness that has to happen in your waking day in order to translate to that mindfulness in your dream life.
Wow, I love that. You can train your brain.
Yes.
That's very cool. Very cool.
If you wrote a book tomorrow, what would you write about?
It may be surprising to myself at least, is that I wouldn't do a nonfiction book. I think I'd honestly release a bit of my own poetry. I've always loved poetry books. I think that it is a beautiful form of art, and I have been a secret writer for a very, very long time. So if all of the stars were aligned, I think it would be poetry, because that is truly transformative and healing, and it doesn't have to be, straight form articles or chapters full of knowledge in order to get something out of it. So I'd say poetry, as maybe cheesy as that sounds.
Oh, no, that's not cheesy at all. Have a huge literature background and started writing poetry very young. So I have a love of poetry that actually needs to be a little bit rekindled, but it doesn't, just because it's short does not mean it's not deep.
Yes, absolutely. Well, maybe this was, the universe speaking through me to you. You got to get that poetry going.
Yes. After I finish my novel.
Yes. After that, on the to-do list.
Yes. Add it to the list of all the other things that I want to write.
Yeah. All the things you want to learn.
All the things distracting me from finishing my novel.
Yes.
Yes. So what's next for you on your journey? What do you think you'll do next?
Really, my journey right now is about learning how to manifest more confidently. That's my biggest, not hurdle, but that's my biggest experience right now of learning how to make things easier on myself, not giving myself a to-do list or requirement list in order to manifest of all these gazillion things that need to be done and need to be in perfect place, and just allowing things to be easy. I am an overthinker, like I'm sure a lot of spiritual folk out there are. So I have to calm my mind and let myself receive, because I'm still trying to control everything, because who doesn't love to control everything? So unlearning control, learning how to let myself receive something and make my life be easy. Let it be as good as it can be. That is the energy that I'm invoking.
I'm right there with you. I need to do that too.
Mhm.
So here's to that, because I think that so many people could benefit from that, but I know I definitely could.
Mhm.
So where can people find you online if they'd like to experience what you have to offer?
So I am most active on Instagram. My handle is the Divine Hippie, and I'm sure that's going to be in the
Show
notes
notes? Yep.
below. Okay, good, because I'm not good at spelling, so I did
Yep.
not want to have to say that
No,
out
don't worry about
loud.
that.
The only reason why I was asking. I'm also on Pinterest, the same handle, the Divine Hippie, and you can always find me at my website at www.thedivinehippie.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Rosalee. I loved our conversation, and I'm so hope our listeners will too. And I know there's going to be so many people that'll resonate with what we shared.
Thank you so much for having me today. You are a fabulous host,
Oh, thank you.
and your questions really got me thinking. So
Oh,
thank you.
awesome. Okay. Thank you. Are you a woman wondering what your dreams mean? Are you seeking enlightenment and wanting to connect with your true purpose and higher self? Check out womensdreamanalysis.com to begin exploring the transformative power of your dreams. If you like this episode, please subscribe. If you'd like to share your self-discovery story, spiritual gifts, or have your dream interpreted on the podcast, please go to dreamenlightenment.com.